Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. Today you've become part of a quest for mental, physical, and spiritual health. If you enjoy the show, like, share, comment, subscribe. Now, without further delay, here's the host of the show, Donato Russo, the Ranting Weight Watcher. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my first ever podcast. I am Donato Russo, and I am the Ranting Weight Watcher. Like I said, this is my first ever podcast, and this is a long time in the making. I have wanted to do this forever, and for the longest time, I couldn't think of what to talk about. And then I said to myself, well, why not talk about the one thing I've been struggling with my entire life? So I'm going to spend my first few minutes here telling you a little bit about me. I have been overweight my entire life. And it was in 2004. 2004, I weighed 460 pounds. And things were getting serious. I was 26 years old, 460 pounds. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. I was not living life. I was not living any life of a 26-year-old, that's for sure, to say the least. And so got a little serious and decided that I would pursue the weight loss surgery. And it was not too long after that I had the gastric bypass surgery, the Roux-en-Y procedure. And when you go through these they have these evaluations, when you have to get ready to get the surgery. And so I had to meet with a psychologist when I was getting ready to do this. And the psychologist then, and the doctor then, and every nurse then that I encountered all told me the one thing that was the same, and that was weight loss surgery is a tool to become healthy. It is not a solution to become healthy. And at 26 years old, I did not grasp this. And I look back on it now, and if I could go back in time and smack myself in the face, I would. And, but in a year's time, it was a whirlwind. Got the surgery, did everything I needed to do. And in a year time, I went from 460 pounds to, 277 pounds in 1 year. And of course, the surgeons and everything saw the surgery as a success. That's almost 200 pounds down in a year. So at that point, like, my entire life changed. All of a sudden, I have a social life, and people want to hang out and do things, and I want to get out and do things. And, so I started having fun. I started having a good time, and I started dating my now wife at that time, and we got married in 2000. That was 2005. We started dating, and we got married, engaged in 2006, and married in 2007. And we have been together ever since. And in the time of, since that time period, since the beginning, since that year in 2005 when I had hit the 277 pound milestone, I slowly began to become comfortable and enjoying the success of my surgery. You see, too much success too soon will almost make you overly confident, and that's exactly what I experienced. I became overly confident, and I didn't even realize it. It just sneaks up on you, there's not anything that I could tell you that I couldn't stop somebody from doing the exact same thing I did, because it's a new experience for them, and they'll tell you I would have told you. I would have said, no way, I'm not doing that. I'm not becoming overly confident. You're out of your mind. I know where I was a year ago. I don't forget who I was. But instead, so since that day, since 2005, I then spent the next 15 years slowly but surely gaining the weight back. And many of you would say, if they change the size of your stomach, how could you gain the weight back? Well, I don't care how small or large your stomach is. If you fill it with junk, it doesn't matter. You're going to eat. If you eat junk, if you take in empty calories, if I would have just spent every day of my life filling that little stomach with Snickers or McDonald's or Burger King, whatever it is, if I would have spent that time filling the stomach with that, initially I would lose weight because I was 460 pounds. So, just to give you an example, when at my biggest, I used to go on my way home from work. I would stop at McDonald's. I'd get the quarter pounder meal supersize, right? And I'd get a second supersized fry. And then I'd get a 20-piece nugget. And that was going to be my dinner, right? And then for the ride home, because I needed to eat something while I was driving, I bought a Big Mac to eat while I was driving. And you could bet your ass I ate every ounce of that food. I didn't stop. I was killing myself. And look back at it now, there was a lot of things going on through my head. Food was a little bit of a medication then, and maybe in future episodes I'll get deeper into that, but I don't want to get too deep into it today. But that's just to give you an example of what exactly was the typical a McDonald's stop on my way home from work. And I'd eat that whole Big Mac on the ride home, and I would be well finished before I got home. And then I would sit and eat the double quarter pounder with cheese, and I'd eat both of those supersized fries and the 20-piece nugget and my supersized drink, and nothing would be left over. I'd eat all of it. And I look back on it today in complete disgust. But back to what I was saying, at 460 pounds, if suddenly I'm only fitting a quarter of a Big Mac in there, but I'm still eating the Big Mac, yes, I changed how much I could take in of it, so to speak. Because if I was crazy, I would have saved the rest of the Big Mac, and then as soon as I didn't feel full anymore, I could eat a little more of it. Because you can manipulate the situation, right? As soon as the pouch doesn't feel full anymore, you can eat a little more. And you can eat a little more. And before you know it, that entire meal, that meal I just described to you, I could have bought that entire thing post-surgery, and it would have taken me hours and hours to eat. But I still could have eaten it. That's the same amount of calories, whether it's taken in over 8 hours of time or an hour of time. It's the same amount of calories within a 24-hour time period, regardless of what you say, right? So now in the beginning, I am definitely losing weight because it's a lot less calories than I used to take in. And so here we are, 2019, January 4th. It's my birthday. And I'm looking at myself, I was looking at myself in the mirror that morning in disgust, really. And afraid, terrified of what I had become again. And so I had to say, you know what? It's time. I need to step on this scale. I need to step on this scale and face the music and do whatever I need to do to see what the hell I've done to myself. And that morning I stepped on the scale. And I weighed 395.6 pounds on January 4th, 2019. My 41st birthday. And completely disgusted with myself. And, you know, we had family and friends over to celebrate my birthday. I have my daughter there, 8-year-old daughter. Or I'm sorry, at that time she was 7. But we're all sitting there, and it's supposed to be a happy occasion because it's my birthday. And all I'm thinking of, I can't believe I let myself get back to this point. Even though it wasn't the entire amount that I gained back, I was close enough. I mean, 60 pounds. What's 60 pounds? In the broad scheme of it, what's 60 pounds? You know? And so I decide that night, I said it to myself, something's got to change. Got to change it now. And that's when I said, I'm going back to Weight Watchers. And I had been on Weight Watchers countless times in my life. Countless times. And so I returned to Weight Watchers on January 12th, 2019. And at that point, I didn't really grasp how my mindset had changed yet. And so started, and I decided not to do any exercise in the beginning. Just changed my eating habits. I'm sorry. And that's what I did. And here I am now on, what is it, August 27th today, 2020. August 27th, 2020. And I officially today am 102.6 pounds down. Currently weighing 293 pounds. I'm a few pounds away from the lowest I had ever been on the surgery at 277. I'm only a few pounds away from that. My current small goal is to get to 277 again. Partially because that's the weight I was when I first started dating my wife, and partially because that's the lowest weight I had ever been because of the surgery. Get back there and get going for the rest of the journey. My current small goal is the 277, and after that, it is to reach 125 pounds down, because Weight Watchers gives you a little charm for every segmented amount of weight, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, kind of a deal like that. There's a little charm. And the next charm in particular I'm heading for is the 125-pound charm. So after I get 277, I'll be full steam ahead toward 125. The end goal at this point is to lose 200 pounds, be 195 pounds, and reevaluate. Look at myself, see how I look, see how I feel, and decide at that moment what it is I will do next. Whether it is to, get a little gym crazy and maybe tone up, or enjoy life. I don't know. I don't know what I plan to do at that point. It all depends on how I feel, how I look, and we'll go from there. But that's about it for right at this moment. For my current goals. You know what? We're going to take a break, and stay with me for the break, and come back, and we will talk a little more about Weight Watchers when we return, all right? You guys have a great one. I'll be right back in a minute. Hello, everyone. Donato Russo here of the Ranting Weight Watcher. I just wanted to thank you so much for listening to my show and wanted to give you a chance to connect with me on social media. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, you could find me at The Ranting Weight Watcher. If you're on Twitter, I am at The Ranting WW. On Connect, if you're already on Weight Watchers and you want to find me on Connect, at Ranting Weight Watcher. But most of all, if you're enjoying the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And stay tuned for the rest of the show. You guys have a good one. Thank you so much for sticking with me. We are back. And so I just wanted to tell you a little about Weight Watchers itself. So I've been on Weight Watchers, as I said before, for 1.5 years now. I have been on Weight Watchers many times in my life. This current plan is probably, in my opinion, the easiest of all of the plans they ever created to follow. It's very easily, when I approach this, being at my 395 pounds, I approach this thinking, okay, I want to make sure I'm never hungry. And I want to eat as much food as possible under the plan regulation rules, kind of a thing, the guidelines. And in reality, there's nothing you can't eat on Weight Watchers, barring if it's not a trigger food. Some people like me, I've never been diagnosed with a food addiction, but I could put two and two together to say I definitely had a food addiction. You based on your height, your weight, you get a point allotment. Think of this as, if you're not on Weight Watchers, think of this as a bank account, and your points per day, whatever the number is your funds to eat. Now, every food you would put in your mouth, down to, even restaurants are in that app, the Connect app. Whatever you choose to eat, grilled chicken, salad, whatever it is, it's in there. It's in there, and it has a point value, whatever it is. And so you decide what you're going to eat when you're going to eat it. Now, if you're someone like me who enjoys dinner is my favorite meal of the day, typically. So I tend to allot more of my points for dinner and less of my points, say, for lunch or breakfast. In reality, the way it looks is dinner has the most point allotment, then breakfast is the next one up, and then lunch in between is the lowest point meal of the day. Now, to me, in my opinion, this is the genius part of Weight Watchers, is because every other weight loss program there is out there, right? They all work in their own right. I'm not taking anything away from any other one. And don't get me wrong, I do not work for Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers is not paying me to tell you this. This is just my love for the product that I've chosen. And when you look at each program as a whole, whatever it is, keto, Weight Watchers, Atkins, whatever it is, when you look at the rest of them and consider what you have to do, what you have to get rid of, or what you have to sacrifice in order to be a part of that plan, keto, to me, being the toughest of them all, because you're going after a specific bodily function called ketosis. So if you mess that up, that chemistry up at all, the ketosis is gone, and you're inhaling whatever foods are in the planet, and it's not going to work because you didn't follow exactly the guidelines of keto. Again, this is my assessment of watching other people do it, and the amount given up. Anybody who is like me, who obviously had a food addiction, and is motivated to become get healthy. When you're presented with this information that you're giving up this much, it's a little intimidating, right? And, the motivation might kick in to tell you this is easy. We can do this. There's no problem, right? And there's no chance we're going to fail. This is it. This is the time. This is the time we succeed. And I can't tell you how many times in my life I went in motivated into a weight loss program, whatever it was, saying this is it. This is the last time. Now, what I feel was different this time is being 42 years old or 41 years old at the time. I'm looking at my daughter, who's 8 years old or 7 years old at the time, and I'm thinking I want to be around. So there's a different mindset right there, just that alone, wanting to be here for whatever it is, every life event she's going to go through. I want to be here for that. Now, what do I want? Am I willing to give up certain things in order to make sure that happens? I decided yes, I was. And I stayed in the Weight Watchers guidelines. There's something called the healthy eating zone. So if you get whatever your point value is for the day, if you stay within 6 or 7 points above it, or 7 or 8 points below it, this is called the healthy eating zone. And so in the beginning, because I wasn't exercising, I said, okay, I'm going to stay on the lowest end of the healthy eating zone, that range. So I can leave 8 points on the table and every night and still be in the healthy eating zone. And I'm not exercising, so I don't need to eat all these points. And that's how I approached it in the beginning. And from January to August of 2019, I dropped the 50 pounds without exercise. And I don't know how many weight loss programs where you could just drop weight. I'm sure when you're giving up a bunch of food that you don't normally want to give up, I'm sure you're going to drop weight quickly. The question is, will it stay off, Now, I've experimented with so many different things since being on the plan. And, when you start to exercise, because when I hit the 50-pound mark, I decided I was going to begin exercising. So, at that time, I was still pretty big. And I made a commitment to myself, 3 days a week. I'm going to walk for 20 minutes, and I commit to this for 4 weeks. And I said to myself, I will make no changes to this regimen until I have successfully completed the 4 weeks. And that's exactly what I did. And at the end of the 4 weeks, I went up to 30 minutes. And then 4 more weeks, and I went up to 45 minutes. And then at the end of 4 more weeks, I added a 4th day. And then, so at this point now, I have a trainer that I go to 2 days a week. And 4 days a week, I am still walking. And some days I'm walking 2 hours. Total about anywhere between 4 and 6 miles per walk. And that's a huge change for me. That was a huge improvement. And my dedication regardless of weather, I would not let anything deter me from getting it done, because in my mind, the voice of guilt that shows up when you don't do what you set out to do is far louder than the voice that's telling you, no, stay inside. Are you crazy? It's raining outside. Are you crazy? You didn't get any sleep last night. No matter what it is, there's always going to be an excuse. Now, my dedication, my motivation, I realized motivation was nice to have. And, but it didn't last long. Motivation only lasts as long as your energy does, in reality. You get to a certain point where something clicks, and it's not motivation driving you anymore. It is dedication. And the only thing I could say is I don't know when this happens. I can't honestly say to you when it happened to me. I want to tell you it happened to me when I hit the 50-pound mark. Suddenly it just seemed real to me. And I don't know I had ever lost 50 pounds on my own before that. I mean, besides the gastric bypass, but in the beginning of a gastric bypass surgery, it's very easy to drop weight. Now, if you're interested at all in Weight Watchers, but you don't know much about it, and you're not sure, and you think that, you don't want to go to the meetings because it's some crazy thing like Alcoholics Anonymous or something like that. In reality, it's nothing like that. When I signed up to go to the meetings, or the workshops, they call them now, because I felt like I needed to have the camaraderie with other people. And that's what really what it's about. Being in a room where everybody's in the same boat, you got people cheering you on, you meet people, and suddenly, it's like you got to see them the next week, right? You got to see, how did they do, how much did you lose this week? Oh, did you do good? All right, great job. And you start to look forward to seeing these people. But if you're interested, and I can, at this point, I can get you can get a free month. If you just email the show at, it is therantingweightwatcher@gmail.com. In the subject line, put WW free month, and I'll send you an invitation to get you a free month of Weight Watchers, and you can experiment with it yourself, And who knows? You could be the next success story, and it's just it's not just me. Maybe you have great things ahead of you, and it's just about taking the first step. Because there's two kinds of people in the world. There's people that sit around and wait for the motivation to move, and there's people that get up and move so they can get the motivation. Now, I hope that you've enjoyed the show. I have certainly enjoyed recording it. And I have so many ideas that I have planned for future. I'd love for this to be one day a call-in show where you guys can call in and we can talk about your journey. I'd love to have people that are successful and maybe interview them. Maybe that'll come first before the call-in. I just don't know that I have the technology to pull off the call-in show yet. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. All you could do is take a step forward, right? That's all you can do, is when you want to do something, when there's something you dream to do, you're not going to ever accomplish that dream if you don't do anything to go toward that goal, that dream. If your dream is to make millions of dollars in sales, and you're working at a place that is not a sales position, how are you going to make $1 million? And in this case, we're talking about a healthy lifestyle. Everybody can talk about, oh, I can stand to lose a few pounds. And there's some people out there that join weight loss programs just so they could say they're doing it. And I feel like they frustrate me a little bit the most, because there's so much potential. There's so much they could be doing. In reality, they treat it as something they could just say they're doing. And it's just sad to me, It's sad that they would take it so lightly. And really, it's your life. It's your life, and if you're not willing to grab a hold of it and do the work and do what is required to get that dream, to get a hold of whatever it is you're after, no one can do it for you. No one can push you. No one can wake you up and say, get going, get moving. It's not going to work. You got to want it. You got to want it. Get up every day and put in the work. Because starting the weight loss journey is just the beginning. There's going to be times of complete frustration and times where you just want to quit because you feel like you did everything right. But when you stepped on the scale at the end of the week, it didn't go your way. And to anybody who's listening right now, I thank you for listening to this show. And I hope you listen to future ones. I hope you subscribe to my future episodes, and I hope you tell your friends about me too. I'm going to head out now. I've held you long enough. I've talked my head off. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.